Can I do better than FC26 when it comes to predicting the Premier League? Let's find out. I'm back. It's been a while, guys. Apologies. I've just not been able to record the prediction videos for the last few weeks, but now I am back for week 7, right before an international break. This is the content you're going to get on this channel, guys. Be prepared for it. So yeah, again, apologies for not being able to record the last few weeks. Just haven't had the time to do so. But I'm back, and hopefully from now until the end of the season, hopefully we'll be alright. So let's have a look and see where we're currently at in terms of points. So it's been a while. I have you guys may have noticed I did my predictions for the Champions League a couple of weeks ago. I decided that I'm not going to do European competitions for this series because, yeah, I don't want to, basically. So we're only going to be doing domestic tournaments. That's going to include the Premier League, Carabao Cup and FA Cup. So as it currently stands, after last week, where the only prediction I actually got spot on was Sunderland beating Forest 1-0. If you guys have been keeping an eye on my community tab, you'll see that I've been posting my predictions on there as well anyway, so you guys can go back and check and see what I've done. So I'm currently on 55 points, and SC25 was on 42, but now this is going to be the first week where it's now SC26, so exciting times. So yeah, I'm not got a 13-point lead over SC26, so hopefully I can keep making that bigger and bigger as the weeks go on. But without further ado, let's get into this week's predictions. So on Friday night, we do have Bournemouth up against Fulham. For Bournemouth, it was a late show against Leeds last week, getting a last-minute equaliser. That's been the story of Leeds this season so far, but we'll get onto those later on. Yeah, for Bournemouth, I mean, to be fair, again, going forward, look, again, as we've expected so far this season, they've been absolutely fine. Semenyo in particular has been absolutely brilliant. You know, he's been doing wonders for my FPL team, so I can't thank him enough for that. But again, at the back, Bournemouth just conceding just silly goals at the back again. This has not really been improving that much for them at that department. And for Fulham as well, and again, first team to lose to Villa this season in the league. Yeah, it's sort of so well for them up front, but it's just I don't know. It feels as though that they probably shouldn't have lost that game to Villa, especially not 3-1, 3-2. I think it was in the end. Yeah, it was really, really poor from Fulham away at Villa, and again, away at Bournemouth, probably not the players they want to go to try and get back into winning ways, because Fulham they were looking pretty good in a few couple of spells of games there. Again, with Bournemouth, I mean, again, I'm just going to keep on saying this every single time. Going forward, they look absolutely great. At the back, they're still conceding those silly goals, and I think Fulham are definitely going to score a couple of goals here at the Vitality Stadium. But I think Bournemouth will as well. I'm going to go for 2-2 draw in that one. And then 26, agree with me, but they've gone very boring 0-0. I'll be surprised if this wasn't goalless. Let me tell you that one. Moving on to Saturday, this time we do have Leeds up against Tottenham. Leeds. You know, I just mentioned there, conceding late goals has just been the story of their season so far. And if they hadn't conceded those late goals, funny enough, against Bournemouth and Fulham, Leeds would be in the top 7, but they're not. They're currently in the bottom half against Tottenham, who started off so promisingly. They really, really did, but then last couple of weeks have just started to sort of falter a little bit. And to be fair, they got very lucky against Wolves in the end to get that equaliser, because they did not deserve that at all. Wolves should have won that game really. And then Leeds, they're picking up points every week, which is brilliant, but I think last couple of games should have really been wins, and I think they're starting to feel the repercussions of that a little bit in this one. And again, I think Tottenham at home, although it is an early kick-off, this for me just screams a Leeds win. It really does. And I know Leeds fans have been saying, what's Leeds? But everyone thinks we're going to beat Tottenham. We're just going to not. And I think, although I won't be surprised if Leeds won, I'm on a bit more of the fence, because although Tottenham haven't been great recently, they still look a lot better at the back than they did under Ange. And I think we're seeing that in Nottingham Forest now, how leaky Forest have been at the back since Nuno's gone. Yeah, I'm going to go with another draw in this one. I'm going to go for 1-1 draw in this one. However, SC26 thinks that Spurs are going to win 2-0. Then we do have Arsenal against West Ham. Arsenal, again, leaving it late against Newcastle last week. 2 very late goals from Mikel Merino, of all people, and Gabriel, who may or may not have been on the pitch at that time. He probably should have been sent off, really. Yeah, Arsenal, I'll admit, Arsenal got very lucky in that game. It's funny how they all seem to think that the refs and VR against them, they got very lucky in that game against Newcastle. I will admit that. It doesn't really matter. It's what's done is done. They moved on. They got the win, and now they've got a very, very favourable home game against West Ham. It's what I would have said if Graham Potter was still in charge. Obviously, Nuno is now in charge at the London Stadium, and literally already in the first game against Everton, West Ham looked so much better. It really did. I mean, I think we all had the feeling that when Potter left, West Ham were just going to pick up, and they were so much better against Everton. They really did, and I do think that they are going to try and do it well against Arsenal too. But I think with Arsenal, to me, I can't see many teams going to Arsenal and getting points this season. I really can't. And I think that's going to be the same case this weekend. I'm going over 2-0 home win there for Arsenal. Whereas SC 26 thinks it'll be a 1-1 draw. Well, to be fair, if that happened, I wouldn't be too shocked. But I think Arsenal probably will end up winning this one. Then onto our second of only 2 free-kick kickoffs this weekend. The game's gone, guys. It really is. We do have Manchester United up against Sunderland. And Sunderland, I mean... Yeah, you guys have seen in my review so far this season, we are in absolute dreamland right now. It's been a brilliant start of the season for us. And coming into this game against Man United, where I think we're seen as the favourites for this one. Not by the bookies or by professionals, but I think within like fan bases and like people, like fans. I think people expect us to get something from this game, which is absolutely nuts to even think about. And I think just the fact we aren't playing flashy football all the time, but I think so far we have proven that we have been very resilient at the back. Looking very, very compact. Forest couldn't break us down. Although to be fair, they missed so many sitters last week as Forest already did. And coming against United, who, again, a team who looks pretty uncomfortable up front. Lost to Brentford last week in pretty poor circumstances. To be fair, they were absolutely disgraceful against Brentford. Again, whether or not that they probably could have got a point out. Bruno Fernandes missed a penalty. Sesko's goal being ruled off offside, which again was pretty controversial. Yeah, United, they've been getting them. That's been great going forward from United, and I think the longer that this unbeaten run continues for Sunderland, I think the more I'm going to get confident, which is not great for me at all. And it's the reason why I'm backing us to get a point at Old Trafford, which is a rare result for us, because we've got a horrible record at Old Trafford, literally one win in the last 57 years at United. So I think the chances of us winning is going to be pretty slim still, I'll be honest. But I'm going to say 1-1 draw, which I think still me being pretty optimistic. But I think we can do it. I think we'll get a 1-1 draw. And SC26 do agree with me there, but they're going with a 0-0 again. I would absolutely snap my hand off of that right now. I know United have been pretty poor so far this season, but actually every single game, never mind the away game, if you offer me a point before, and I'm going to fucking take it, I really am. So yeah, 1-1 there. Then on to the Saturday night kick football, we do have an absolute banger, in my opinion, between Chelsea and Liverpool. Yeah, Liverpool started to go a few wary results here and there. Liverpool, losing last minute to Crystal Palace last weekend, and then losing to Galatasaray. Maybe in the Champions League as well. It's been, things are starting to get a little bit tense at Liverpool at the minute. I won't lie. Some of the fans are starting to get a little bit frustrated with how Arsenal's doing at the moment. They won over 5 games of the Premier League season. They beat Atletico Madrid. They won in the Carabao Cup. I think these results have given Liverpool a very good reality check. Because let's be honest, they've been scoring late goals in every game so far this season up until the Galatasaray game. They're scoring late goals. I think they've been getting a pretty harsh reality check so far for Liverpool. And Chelsea, back-to-back weeks with down to 10 men and end up losing the game. Yeah, it's just, you're thinking, like, well, first of all, can Chelsea actually go a game about actually getting a man sent off for starters? Because, yeah, it was a stupid red card from Chalobah. It really, really was. And can they actually, not lose as well? And again, it's going to be a tough ask against Liverpool, And I know that I've just mentioned how Liverpool been the big, reality check. But I think in this game, this game's going to be a good game to watch. I think we could have some goals galore in this one. I really, really do. But I think Liverpool will just come out on top with another late winner. We'll go 3-2 Liverpool. Yeah, I think defensively this game's just going to be all over the place. But I think it's going to make a really, really good game of football. And SC26 do agree with me. They're going with a 1-0 away win there for the champions. Moving on to Sunday, we do have Aston Villa up against Burnley. Burnley, they've been getting some horrible fixtures, Like, although they've only got 4 points so far this season, that doesn't really tell the full story in terms of how well organised and how unlucky they've been so far in the season under Scott Parker. They've actually looked alright, and they've just been in some really tough fixtures. And going to Villa away, which I think a few weeks ago probably would have been a bit of a daunting task, but with how Villa have started the season, I think you're looking at that game thinking, you know what, we could, And I know Villa have picked things up. They've won both the games in Europa League so far. They beat Fulham last weekend. I don't know. I don't know why I'm getting a vibe that Burnley might just win this game. Few just pure defensive grit, and the fact that they're probably going to catch Villa out on the counter attack. And if Villa do play half-heartedly like they have been lately, I could see Burnley win this one. And this is probably going to age poorly, but I'm going to back Burnley to win 1-0 at Villa Park. I'm crazy, I know. I think it might happen. And FC26 completely agree with me. They've also gone with a 1-0 win for Burnley. I think it might happen. I really, really do. I'll be backing Burnley to win these games so far this season, but they haven't. But we're going again. Why not? 1-0 Burnley. Next we do have Everton up against Crystal Palace. Everton, they were looking very comfortable against West Ham for a certain period of time, but then once West Ham equalised, Everton were definitely on the back foot, and the Hill Dickinson got the first booze of the season or ever, so to speak. And then Everton, I don't know why they had a bit of a spell where they were looking good, like they were at the end of last season, but then there's a really poor end to the West Ham game. And coming against a Crystal Palace team who are now 19 games unbeaten in all competitions so far. And again, they look very, very good out in Ukraine last night as well. Looking pretty good against Kiev. And to be fair, I think normally I probably would have backed the Crystal Palace win. But again, it's just a similar thing with Arsenal, where I don't see many teams coming to Everton this season and picking up wins that often. And I think it could be another stalemate in this one. I'm going to go with a 1-1 draw in this one. However, FC26 thinking that Palace are going to win 2-1, which again wouldn't surprise me at all. But I'm going to go with 1-1 for this one. Next we have Newcastle against Nottingham Forest. Newcastle felt hard done by Arsenal. I think rightly so as well. They were definitely robbed in that game, 100%. But they did go out and beat Union SG 4-0 on Wednesday night. That's going to feel a little better. Nick Watamada is starting to get a bit of a groove going up front. I think it's been proven so far that if he gets a service, he's going to score goals. Let's be honest, he's looking very, very good, especially in the air, as you would expect. And Forest, it's just been a dreadful start for Ange. I think it's like 7 games without a win already for Ange. 6 games without a win for Ange. Not being good at all, and the Forest fans are already starting to lose faith in them already. And I think that's fair to say, because they've been so poor under him. At the back, there's conceding goals for fun going forward. Although they did score twice last night, it still wasn't enough. Chris Wood's not really firing on all cylinders as he was last season. It's looking bleak, and going away to Newcastle right now, not the game that Forest we're looking for, and I think it's going to be more misery for Ange. I'm going to go with a 2-0 home win there for Newcastle. And FC26 also agree with me, they're going with 2-1. To Newcastle there. Next we do have Wolves against Brighton. Wolves were so close to getting the first win of the season, and we had Tottenham as well, which would have been absolutely unreal result for them. But then the last minute equaliser to concede, it was just so unfortunate for them, for Wolves. It really, really was. And again, the route is to the bottom of the table, but maybe things starting to slowly turn in the right direction for them. They've got the first point of the season now. Can they then go one better and actually win at home against Brighton, who, I'll be honest, Brighton are starting to look pretty damn good. I'll be honest, that although Chelsea were down to 10 men for most of the second half against them, Brighton looked good. They really, really did. And they've already beaten City so far this season as well at home. I'm looking at elsewhere as well. Obviously, they've looked very comfortable in the Carabao Cups before, although against lower league opposition they have absolutely steamrolled both Oxford and Barnsley as well. And and again, probably should have beaten Tottenham as well a few weeks ago. Brighton are looking alright. They're really, really on. I think they're going to continue that run against Wolves. I'm going over 3-1 away win there for the Seagulls. Was SC26 think that Wolves were going to get the first win of the season. I go 2-1 home win there for Wolves. Would be, again, a statement win there for Wolves. And then finally, to round off the weekend, we do have Brentford up against Manchester City. And Brentford, a brilliant win at home against United. I think loads of people, including myself, didn't think they'd do too well under Keith Andrews so far this season. They've looked alright, Brentford. They really, really have. I mean, yeah, they got absolutely smashed Fulham. I'll admit that. But, at home so far this season, Brentford looked good. They beat United, drew against Chelsea, they beat Villa as well. So, yeah, at home, Brentford looking very, very good so far this season. Against City, who, in the end, beat Burnley quite comfortably in the end. But to be fair, Burnley were pushing them in that game. And so far with City, again, they just haven't quite had that consistency that we've known and have in the past. And yeah, I don't know where it's going. Brentford looking so good at home, but it's Man City, if you know what I mean. Haaland has been, well, I don't want to say he's been carrying City so far this season, but I've tried to think where they'd be without him, is what I'm going to say. And I think it'll be a tough game, but I think City will come out on top in this one. I'm going to go 2-0 away win for City, and I know it completely goes against what I've just said, but I think City do beat Brentford 2-0. However, SC26 think that Brentford are going to beat both Manchester clubs at home back-to-back weeks and beat City 1-0. Again, will be a statement win for them, but I'm going to go with a City away win for this one. Now, guys, going to be it for this week's predictions video. Let me know down below how do you think your team's going to get on this weekend. Are you looking forward to the international break? I know I'm not, personally, but it is what it is. Anyway, that's it for me. Hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you all next time.